Hi Pisces, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel, and also happy birthday. This is your March 2021 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you interested in book and personal reading with me, just check out the description video for more details there. And as far as what we have in front of us, for anyone who's new to the channel, we have a Celtic cross spread, and then I also pulled an Oracle card and a Mudra card. But we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling these astrology dice that I have here to give us a feel for where your focus will be as far as the astrology goes. And then we'll get to the main spread after that. All right, so let's see what we get. Okay, so we have Taurus. And for you guys, that's your third house communication. We have Uranus there now, Mars as well. It's going to move out of there early in March, but Uranus will definitely be there to stay for a long time. We have Saturn. So Saturn is actually in your 12th house. And speaking of 12th house, we have 12. So this is actually the house you guys naturally rule, given that you guys are the 12th house, 12th sign of the zodiac, I should say. But for you guys, your 12th house is Aquarius, and obviously there's a ton of energy in there, so it makes sense that this will be a focus for you guys too. All right, so we'll keep that in mind as we go through the spread, but getting started with the main situation, we have the Empress and the Seven of Swords. So even though the backgrounds are similar, a pretty big contrast in the energy. Usually this could be viewed as Taurus or Libra energy, given that they're both ruled by Venus, and we see the Venus symbolism there, but this definitely has more of an earthy tone to it, so usually I think more of a Taurus energy with this, which is your third house communication, and that was one of the dice we saw come up. And with the Seven of Swords, this is Aquarius energy, which is your 12th house, which again, we saw that energy too, so could just be saying to just be careful around some deception when it comes to communication. The main thing that comes to mind here is that, let's say you have some really good idea about something, right? I would say be careful about who you share that idea with, because they might actually try to steal that idea. So if you were going to present that idea, make sure it's out there so everyone else knows it, as opposed to just sharing it with more of a one-on-one setting, and then that person tries to take the idea and claim it as their own, basically. That's one thing I see. Another could just be saying if you're experiencing some success, be it financial or just in general, maybe if you're being seen more publicly and being successful in that regard, just be mindful that there could be some people around you that might try to take advantage of that. So something to keep in mind there. I wouldn't freak out about it too much though, because this would be the major arcana energy, and then this is minor. So, obviously you'd still be better off than they were, but worth noting anyway. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the Six of Wands, which is Leo energy. So this can represent some conflict in the workplace, because given that this represents victory, and Leo energy for you guys is your 6th house of work, could also point to health and daily routines as well. But given what I'm seeing here, I feel like this might be more of a work dynamic or possibly creative projects. Looks like you're getting some recognition there, right? Some success. For example, maybe you got a promotion recently in your job, and there could be some people that aren't too happy about that for whatever reason. Jealousy would be obviously the first one that comes to mind, but that's what I see there. So it could just be saying this month you're probably going to be having some successes, but this might be a good time to just keep a little bit quiet about them. Definitely enjoy the successes, but maybe not too publicly at this time. In the foundation position, we have the Five of Pentacles. So it could be one of those things where maybe you've been down for a while, and maybe now those, karmically things are balancing themselves out for you guys. And again, like I said, for whatever reason, it might be some people in your environment that aren't necessarily too happy to see that. That misery loves company type phrase comes to mind in that regard. But and this could also be saying that there could be people in your environment that might be in that position. So if they see you, really doing well and they're not doing too great, that could bring a bit of jealousy, or even it might just bring some shady characters into the environment that might want to take advantage of your success. So definitely something to just be mindful of this month. This does represent Taurus energy as well. And we did see that was one of the dice that came up. So that's around communication too. So Could even just be warning you not to fall for a sob story. Someone tells you, oh, I'm going through some rough times, could you help me out? Something like that. This could just be saying that this might not be the best time to do so. Past position, we have the High Priestess. So I often view this as Pisces energy here, actually. And this could just be saying that, you might have been going through a period where in the past you were a bit more quiet. Maybe you guys were learning some new skills. Maybe you're just getting a lot of intuitive insights, especially all the things you have going on in your 12th house that might have just been firing that area of your life off really well. And, what always stands out to me too is to me, it looks like she has her foot on that moon symbol there. So to me, it represents having a firm grasp over your emotions and just really tuned in intuitively. All right. In the present position, we have the Ace of Wands. So similar vibe to what I was picking up on there, where like I said, if you have these new ideas that might be coming to you, which I feel like that might be the case, given that there is so much stuff going on in your 12th house, you'll just be saying this might not be the right time to launch it. Looks like that'll probably clear up soon because keep in mind at the time of recording this, we still have that Mercury retrograde in your 12th house. And even when it's going direct again, I think it's going to take around maybe the second week of March. It's going to move into your sign. So that might be the better time for you to actually come out with things in that regard. Because, Mercury in the 12th house could still cause some confusion. All right, near future position, we have the Two of Wands and the Seven of Cups. So to me, this is a similar message to what I was seeing with the Ace of Wands and the reverse, saying that, you might be ready to start to launch something new. But this could just be saying that now this isn't the right time because you might not be seeing the situation too clearly just yet. And if that's the case, given that this card represents Aries energy, the first 10 degrees of Aries, this could just be kind of emphasizing what I was feeling as well, which is to say, well, I was saying a bit more toward the middle of March, but this card could just be saying maybe wait until when we officially get an Aries season, so around the 20th of March, give or take a day or two. That might be the better time to launch because at the current time you might not be seeing things too clearly. And it might just be you have a lot of options and you're just eager to start something new, but, it could just be saying give it a little time. You'll start to see which options are worthwhile a little bit more clearly. All right, the position of your influence in the situation, we have Justice. So, given that it looks like there's some shady energy in your environment, I almost wish that this card would have shown up in your environment position to show that, hey, even if, people try you, you're still going to end up being fine. But even with this being in your position, this is still a really good card to see, which to me shows that, you're maintaining your balance, you're playing it cool, calm, collected. So that's another good thing too. As far as if there are people in your environment that might try to, pull some shady activities around you, it looks like you're going to be able to handle that well this month. And it looks like things will turn out in your favor, which I kind of felt to an extent because like I was saying, those are like minor arcana cards, whereas you have the major arcana energy on your side. So, but obviously still be a bit of an annoyance to have to deal with that type of energy in general. But yeah, this looks like you could have some success around investments and partnerships in general. So that's a positive. In the environment position, we have the 10 of Swords and the 8 of Swords. So I feel like this is saying if for whatever reason you've been turning a blind eye to this, like for example, maybe you've kind of felt that there was some deception in your environment, right? But maybe you were just trying to, talk yourself out of it, like, no, they wouldn't do that, things along those lines. But yet there's still evidence being presented to you that, all right, maybe you don't think they would do that. But if you look at the evidence, it looks like there's definitely something weird going on, right? I could just be saying that this is going to come to an end for you guys this month because you might actually finally start to see it clearly. So that could be what this retrograde has been about for you guys, especially since it is in your 12th house. It maybe has been bringing these things to the forefront for you to look at. And then finally, when Mercury moves into your sign later in March, you finally be able to see, like, okay, I get it now. There's no more avoiding it. There's no more turning a blind eye into it. It is what it is. And then it could just be saying that you might be ending some connections if that's the case. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy. So again, we see that like it popped up with the dice, and the Ace of Swords. So, I mean, on the most basic level, this could just be saying that you're hoping to, have clear communication, whether from you or people communicating toward you. But that's what I'm seeing there. And it could just be saying that maybe you're hoping for some kind of insight to hit you as far as, what is going on, right? Because maybe in the past, for example, maybe you have been able to rely on your intuition, but maybe now because there's so much going on in your 12th house, you might be a little bit more shaken as far as trusting your intuition. Like, okay, yeah, I kind of feel like this could be the case, but I'm not as sure as I usually would have been. So it's going to just be saying that you're open for some insight there as far as actually seeing the truth of the situation. That's the case. Like I said, keep in mind you have the Justice card in your position, so looks like you'll get those insights, even if it takes until possibly that Libra full moon, which would be toward the end of March. So look out for that. And in the outcome position, we have the Five of Swords. So more Aquarius energy here, which again, like we said, is your 12th house. This usually represents deceptive energy as well. So really what I'm feeling like this is pointing to primarily is, like I said, you've had so much energy going on in your 12th house, and a lot of it's going to be there for a bit longer. But given that Saturn is in these degrees, it could just be one of those things where Saturn's really forcing you to look at these things. Like, okay, you might have. So something tells me this might be an ongoing theme for you guys where you've had some type of deception in your environment. But again, like I said, maybe you try to see the best in the situation and talk yourself out of it. Like, no, they wouldn't do that. And now maybe, Saturn's really bringing it out there to where you can't avoid it anymore. If that's the case, like I said, I feel like it won't be able to do much damage, put it that way, but obviously there could be some disappointment around it. But with the Justice card showing up in that position too, it could just be saying that, look, you're going to look at everything fairly, you're going to see the situation clearly and cut off people if you need to, right? If you need to forgive people, you'll do that as well, but that's what I'm seeing there. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit. So this is actually Virgo energy, which is your opposite sign. So it could just be saying that could be where your focus is to a large extent, but also what stands out to me is the way he's kind of looking at that Ace of Wands. So again, I feel like those two cards are working together as far as saying, maybe you're ready to launch something, but this could just be saying give it a little more time, think it over, and then, like I said, sometime probably like the mid-March period, you feel like you'll be ready to launch it. And good thing is beneath that too, we have the World card. So whenever pretty strong, significant cards to see at the bottom, representing successful completions of cycles. So pretty positive. And moving on to your oracle cards, first we have Between Worlds. So there it is there. That's the artwork, and the number is 3. So just like the Empress is also 3 energy. But we'll see what it says. Actually, I think Cancer got this card as well. So if you're dealing with a Cancer, or if you have Cancer in your chart, definitely should check out their reading too. Might give you a little more insight. Most of their energy was pretty different, but the oracle card was the same. All right, so why can't I find it? There we go. It says transitions, not being quite out of one situation and fully engaged in another, temporary blindness, no man's land. The oracle's message: between the worlds is where you must let go of the tendency to make assumptions. This is a time when you are unable to see what is ahead. Cultivate curiosity and trust the process of change and growth. You are done learning the lessons of recent experiences. In this place, between what was and what will be, is a state of making and unmaking and making again. What is essential now is to admit not knowing. There is great freedom and power to be unleashed. A mystery that is not yours to understand weaves the web of life within a divine matrix of consciousness greater than your own thoughts, feelings, beliefs, desires, and decisions. The seeds that were planted in the past begin to take root, but what surfaces will probably not be what you expect. When you are between the worlds, you are invited to see with the curious eyes of a child glimpsing a rainbow for the first time. Do so and you will not be disappointed. So definitely an interesting message there, and interestingly looking at the contrast of the artwork there, seeing the, looks like a much more cloudy, dark scene on the left, which makes me think of the darker environment with the High Priestess, and then moving toward that sunnier environment, which makes me think of the Empress, so this could just be saying that, maybe you've been doing a lot of inner work, and now you're bringing some of that out to the forefront. But like I said, just keep in mind, for whatever reason, people in your environment might not be too happy to see that. The relationship message says, this is a time to explore the new energy between you and another. It is not a moment for certainty, but rather for discovery and curiosity. You don't yet know if this will last forever, so allow yourself to explore who you are and what is reflected back to you. This relationship is meant to educate you about yourself. What do you need? What do you like or dislike? What values are important to you? You are in a critical phase of your relationship that is not to be dismissed or hurried. So I will say I didn't get like a huge relationship vibe from this read in general, but hopefully that resonated for you guys. And the prosperity message says, in your work, sometimes you try things that have worked for others, hoping that you too will be successful. When this symbol appears, it reminds you that sometimes the path to your prosperity is a gamble. Win or lose, you can learn much from what comes of your wager. It's a good time to bet on your skills and talents in new and different arenas. Remain curious, and with the right combination of timing and luck, you will stumble upon something golden that will be unlike anything you've known before. So definitely a pretty positive message there, so hopefully that resonated with you too. And I will say, just because, like I said, it looks like there's a little bit of shady energy in your environment, I'll just read the protection message too, just in case you get something from that. It says, be mindful of your expectations. This is not a time for guarantees. Things will not go things will not go exactly as you plan or dictate. Let go and see what Spirit has in store. What takes hold in your life will be better than you can imagine. So, hopefully that resonated with you guys as well. And finally, I have a Mudra card for you guys, and the Mudra you guys got for this month is this here. It's the Kashyapa Mudra. The keyword for it is preservation. All right, and there's the info on it if you want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say. But under benefits, it says grounding and centering, balances masculine and feminine qualities, protects against negative energies and unfriendly or confused spirits, sometimes called orphan spirits. Oh, so yeah, this actually mentions it in the note section of the card as well. But reading this and given what I was saying about the energy in your environment, this would be a really good time for you guys to consider smudging if you don't normally do that already. And even if you do, maybe just do it again, given what we see here, because like I said, it looks like your energy's going really well. It looks like there's some good things coming your way too. But it looked like there was some weird energy in your environment. Now, to be fair, maybe it's not even something in the physical, right? Maybe it's just an energetic thing. So if that's the case, definitely smudging could be beneficial for you guys. If you haven't done it before, you could just Google smudging. There's tons of info on it. There's even YouTube videos about it too. So definitely look into that. But we'll wrap up there. Once again, happy birthday, guys. I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.